Blessings, blessings, for this is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to Word Unfiltered, with no filters, no chasers, to the Word of God. I don't take from it, I don't add to it, for He has already perfected it enough. Here we have a 22-year-old young woman who has decided to do something extreme because of the overturn of Roe versus Wade. If you don't know what that is, it's meaning that now abortion in many places have become illegal. It is illegal now to take the life of an innocent child, okay? That's in the womb, okay? So now things are, it's coming into balance. Now you can't take the life of a person outside of the womb or inside of the womb, okay? A young 22-year-old woman decided that she was going to do something very extreme, okay? To kind of rebel against this new law, to kind of rebel against the overturn of Roe versus Wade. When I tell y'all the world is going crazy, the world is going crazy. But as a believer of God, okay, as a follower of Christ, He warned us in the Word that men will be lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, meaning they'll do whatever they want to do to please them. Forget about what the Word says, forget about what God says, forget about laws, forget about all of that. I'm going to do whatever I want to do because that's what makes me happy. Okay? The enemy is running rampant, okay? He's running to and fro, seeking whom he may devour, and he is really attacking our young people, okay? This young lady is 22 years old, and here's what she's done.
So a lot of people said this, and a lot of people also grouped together and said a couple other things, and those couple other things were they're going to mold in the resin. You should have sent them to pathology so you know if you're going to get sick. And 3 is, how do I get so lucky?
Okay, so she went to the doctor, had her fallopian tubes taken out, and now she wants them sent back to her so that she can put them in mold and actually make her fallopian tubes into jewelry. Okay, this is a 22-year-old woman who hasn't had any children, and she doesn't want any children, so she decided to go to this extreme, okay, because she's rebelling, because she knows that if she has children, now she can't have an abortion. She can't take the life of that child. So this was the other alternative. So let's finish watching.
Is, how do I get so lucky? So I am going to use you, Toot Lovato, to answer those questions. So yeah, they are little. I was expecting them to be bigger as well because I had Googled it and it said it was going to be 4 inches each, and they are not. So I don't know if it's because they're no longer hydrated and they got a little scrunchy. I know they shrunk a tiny bit because I put them in the refrigerator for one night. So maybe they were bigger when they came out, but yeah, they're pretty tiny. The other thing was that people wanted to make sure that I sent them to pathology. I did. I got them back from pathology. That's how I got them. So what I did is I asked my surgeon if I could keep them. She said probably not, and I said I want to make them to jewelry, and she was like, ooh, I'll ask pathology. That sounds sick. And so
that sounds sick, like sick in the head, sick. And this is the thing, her promoting this on TikTok, where so many young people that's going to come across this video that think, oh, it's okay, it's cool to do something like this to your body, not realizing that your mind may change. You're only 22, not married. Like, your mind may change, and now you done did this irreversible operation, okay? It's hard for me to... I don't know. People do so many things for clicks and views. It's like, is this even real? Like, it's hard for me to comprehend or accept that this is real, that someone really did this. Because I know where I live, I had a child before I was married, and was not able, not that I even wanted to, but I know They were not willing to tie my tubes or take any tubes out, okay? Because number one, even though felt like I was older, but I wasn't married. So they knew that, okay, you get married and you and your husband want a child, then you're going to come back and you want us to reverse this irreversible procedure, surgery. But this is a young person, and she's on TikTok. The video has gone viral. Ton of young women, okay, young men that has viewed this video talking about how did you get so lucky, and it's just.
So she had asked, and they had originally said no, but I didn't even know that because before I got an answer back, I had already written a letter and sent it to them that said, essentially, I looked at the laws in my state, and I know exactly where my rights begin and end regarding this. So I am tremendously lucky to have been able to get the surgery. I don't deny that one bit. I am 22 years old, and I happen to live in Connecticut, which is a very safe state for women right now.
And by safe state, meaning I can do these things. I can. Safe state for women means, the abortion is still okay to get an abortion, okay? That's the safe state. It's a safe state for born women, but not for the unborn women. No, it's not safe for the unborn women.
I'm really lucky in that sense, but regarding getting the tubes back, that was just because I was self-advocating and I did my research, and I was very determined about it. And most of the time, if you say, I'm well aware of my rights, I've already done the research, they're not going to want to deal with you. I don't have the money to sue anybody, but I made it sound like I did, so that's how I got them back. So if anyone has any other questions, feel free to comment and ask, and I'll make a video. Or if you want to look at my Instagram, I documented the entire process of my surgery, if you're looking to get this done. So my Instagram...
Like, that's how hungry and lustful people are for prestige, for power, to be known, for a click, for a like, for a view, for a follower. Like, these women, you're mutilating the inside of your body, your reproductive organs. For what? Just do what you have to do not to have children right now. That way, when the time comes, and if you do change your mind, you have the opportunity. It just hurts me because I know quite a few women who want to have children, and for whatever reason they can't, whether it's medical or they just, been dealing with some things, or they not married yet, and they feel like they're, by the time they get married, they're going to be too old. It's so many women that I know that have a desire to have children. It's so many women that I know that have miscarried, and it totally broke them emotionally. And then we have these other women, these young women who are making these extreme decisions. For what? Because you're mad because you can't take the life of an unborn child because you were irresponsible where your sex life is concerned, and you end up getting pregnant, and you can't take the life of that child because of Roe versus Wade being overturned. So now you're going to go to this extreme. And that's what I'm saying. Is this real? Somebody tell me. Is this real? Like, did she really do this? Did this young girl really... Did she really do this?
Is Sav Bluin. I'm going to put it on my hand right here. It's a public account, and the highlight is called No Tubes, No Problem, and all the information that I have essentially was on there. But if you still have questions, you can DM me if you'd like. Also, if you look at that highlight, you'll see a picture of the letter that I wrote to pathology if you want a template to threaten your local pathology department.
So she's giving advice. She's giving advice to other young women on how to go about doing this. This is the trick of the enemy. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He's trying to destroy mankind, okay? He's trying to do away with life altogether, okay? This is where the LGBT alphabet community comes in at. This is why now the agenda of the enemy is to attack our children. He's starting at a young age now. He's been attacking the children, but now it's even more prominent. This is where all this is coming in at. This is where abortion is coming in at, to stop life, okay? To stop life. So now we have this young girl who's on TikTok. I'm telling you, social media has ruining the world, okay? It's ruining our children. And we have to be very careful as parents, whether you're a parent to your own biological child, you're someone who has stepped in to instruct other children, or just to, lead and guide them, whether that's in ministry, in the education system. If you are a follower of Christ, it's important, okay? It's detrimental that we cover these children, because the enemy is after them. And he's using social media, he's using education to do it, okay? This is crazy.
So I almost didn't say the moldy thing. If they're going to get moldy, they're going to get moldy. They're already in resin. I can't do anything.
So that's the end of that video. My final thoughts on it is, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this because she is so young, and I wish she would have just waited. If this is true, it is so hard for me to believe that this is true, that this is what the world is coming to. And it's like, I know what's going on in the world because I'm definitely not in a bubble, okay? I'm very, my eyes are open to what is going on in the world, especially because I know what the word says. So this stuff, it's like I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that this is really true. Like, this young girl, did she really do this? And it's hard for me to believe because I know so many people who do things for clout on social media, but their real life nowhere matches what they actually did. They just do stuff for the clicks and for the followers and for the views. So I'm like, is this for views? Like, or did this girl really do this? She says she documented it on the whole surgery on her page. But my thing is, was the surgery really for that? Because for us women, if we are prone, there's a certain gene that they can find in us to find out if we are prone to get ovarian cancer, to get breast cancer, so on and so forth. And that's why someone in her comments had told her, like, you should have sent it off to be tested just to see if there's a possibility that if you have this gene that will cause you to get this illness, which is, for her would be like ovarian cancer. So I'm like, is that why she really sent it off? Is that why she really had her tubes taken out? Was she prone to get ovarian cancer? And there's many women that had like hysterectomies and stuff to avoid getting that because they did have that gene. It's like with me, my mother had breast cancer, and so did my grandmother. So I have to get mammograms, and they can also do blood work to see if I have that gene where it's most likely that I'm going to have that illness. So I can already do what I need to do to avoid it. So it makes me think, like, is that what really happened? Okay, people are so, there's so many counterfeits on these platforms, and it's just hard for me to think that you really did this and a doctor allowed you to do this because you wanted to rebel against the overturn of the Roe versus Wade. Like, and that's why I say I hate saying this, but it's like, if that was the reason, I'd rather for you to do that than to have these babies or become pregnant and take their life. I'd rather for you to do that. Just avoid it. Don't have any children. If you're going to take the lives of the children, just don't have them. So I feel kind of bad for saying that because I know God is about life. And I know this young girl is so young. But if this is if this is really the case, then I would rather for you to get your tubes taken out than to have children, conceive children, and take their lives. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know, and that's why it's hard for me to really come to the conclusion that this girl really did that for that reason. Okay, she really had this surgery for that reason. Y'all pray for our young people. Pray for this world, because it's just in turmoil. It's just going crazy. Like, the enemy is just running rampant, and yeah. Whew.